Chivas will have a real powerhouse team for the next tournament. A team that will make the entire Liga MX tremble with fear. So stay with me because we're going to talk about that and other topics next. And tell me if you agree, if you think Chivas will really make all of Mexican soccer tremble with fear. I'm Jesus Bernal, and I thank all of you for your attention. Thank you so much for being here with me to talk about the latest on Chivas. So leave a comment below if you agree or not that Chivas will make everyone in Mexican soccer tremble, will strike fear into all the teams. So without further ado, let's start this video with the latest news about Chivas. Well, first let me tell you that I had to change locations. Here in my house. But the power went out because it started raining in Guadalajara. So, well, I don't have electricity, I don't have internet, I don't have a studio, I don't have anything, and I'm recording from my phone. But anyway, like I was saying, right? The thing is, with the arrival of Kevin Castañeda, Chivas, already a team that struck fear into opponents, are going to be even more intimidating in Mexican soccer. First of all, they have a great coach like Gabby Melito, who has already shown us what he's capable of. And the way he manages his group to do really interesting things. How has he been able to manage talent, make the most of it, and adapt whoever he can to his style of play? And this, well, has escalated to the point that I think Chivas is the team that plays the best soccer in the whole league. If we add to this that Chivas has an attacker who has been directly involved in 20 goals over the last year, wow, that's great news. Wow, that's great news. At the time, the same thing happened with Sipu, with Angel Sepulveda as well. Chivas signed the Mexican player who had produced the most goals last season, and obviously his performance at Chivas declined. In terms of goal scoring, because he was behind Armando Gonzalez, right? He didn't have much playing time, but even so, in the minutes he got, he scored 3 or 4 goals, if I remember correctly, in the previous tournament, and they were a good contribution. Right? Kevin Castañeda, well, it's a similar situation. Obviously, he comes in to fight for a spot with Roberto El Piojo Alvarado, with Efrain Alvarez, maybe with Brian Gutierrez, with Omar Gobea. But as he gets more minutes, I'm sure he'll contribute goals. And let's see, if he doesn't get 20 in a year, well, if coming off the bench he gives you 10, gives you 8, then that's 10 or 8 goals that Chivas didn't have. So, well, we just have to keep a close eye, of course, on this situation. About the Kevin Castañeda situation, and, well, I do believe so. Chivas will be a team that throughout the season in Liga MX will inspire fear. They already do, and now reinforced even more so. And we'll have to see if the management itself intends to look for more reinforcements or another player who could join the Rebaño Sagrado in this transfer window. It's obvious that for Kevin Castañeda's arrival to happen, thank you. For the signing to happen, today I could say everything is agreed, everything is set, but Kevin Castañeda hasn't signed yet. In that sense, well, until this happens, Chivas had to make a bit of a sacrifice so that Kevin Castañeda could become a player for the Rebaño Sagrado. And that sacrifice is sending Yael Padilla to Xolos de Tijuana. One of the best prospects, yes, when he debuted 3 years ago. His debut was quite a while ago now. And during that period of time, there were coaches who trusted him a lot more, like Jerez Espinosa, and others who just didn't. Thank you, Gabby Melito. Others who were kind of in the middle, like Fernando Gago. And that's how he managed, his time with the Chivas team. At first, when he debuted, he made a big impact because of the goals he scored in 3 matches when Pauno was coaching. But after that, he couldn't maintain that consistency. I think in the end, it's a win. It's a win because he's going to Tijuana to gain more experience, to face a new challenge where he might have the chance to get more minutes on the field. It's very clear that Loco Abreu trusts the Mexican player and gives him opportunities. So keep an eye on that. Second, Chivas wins because they lower the price for Kevin Castañeda a bit. And besides that, they let go of a player who wasn't highly valued by coach Gabriel Milito. And as always, well, Gracias has this famous Gracias clause. If he does really well and they want him back, they pay an amount lower than what any other club would pay. And Guadalajara can get him back. So, well, sometimes to win, you have to sacrifice a little. And in that sense, Chivas sacrificed Yael Padilla. The 26-player squad has already been announced. Of the world. And there were no surprises in the end. Thank you. Aguirre did his job. Thank you. Even though, thank you. He threatened that maybe those who are playing in the final could report and so on. It wasn't like that, and the original 26 called-up players remain, right? These are players who were originally considered by the Mexican national soccer team. What does this mean? That Chivas is the backbone of the national team. 5 players from Chivas: Tala, Piojo, Romo, Ormiga, and in a certain period, Angie scored a goal. The World Cup came and went, and well, now in 2026, Gutierrez, all 5 stay to play in the World Cup, and well, before moving up. Chivas will once again be the foundation, just like it happened in 2006, just like it happened in 2010, and now with Conciencia Italia in 2026. It had been practically 16 years since this happened. Brazil, Russia, Qatar, 3 World Cups where Chivas stopped being the backbone of the national team. In fact, I think that in one of them, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that in the Russia World Cup, no one from Chivas went. So, well, that's how things are, right? Today, the team is once again the backbone of the national team, and of course, that's a reason for pride and celebration within the management. Their goal as an institution was to be the base of the national team, and today, they've achieved it for several reasons. The first is because of the players themselves, who obviously did their job really well. The second is Coach Gabi Milito, who helped those players improve, and through their playing system, they managed to make them stand out. Enough merits to be considered by Vasco Aguirre. All the success in the world. I hope the Mexican national team does well, and the Chivas players too. What's going on with Guti, right? What's going on with Eric Gutierrez? This player who became the team captain, who arrived as a key figure during Fernando Gago's time. And well, unfortunately, he hasn't been able to settle in, right? We have to remember that Gabi Milito told him he wasn't in the plans at the start of the previous tournament. Guti decides to stay, decides to work, decides to train. But when he sees that there's really no chance or possibility for him to come back, well, they thank him, right? They thank him. He gets the message and is looking for a place to play. For now, there's no clear candidate, or at least not that I know of. The big obstacle, as always with most Chivas players, is the salary. Players are paid well in Guadalajara. Plus, you have to add that Guti was coming from Europe, so the offer had to be practically irresistible. And there are very few teams in Mexican soccer that can handle that kind of big offer. Very, very, very few. I imagine that maybe none of those are interested in Gutierrez Galaviz. Even though he's a great soccer player, I don't know if Tigres, if Rayados, if Cruz Azul, if America, if Toluca. Maybe Pachuca might be interested since they're one of the teams that can afford those kinds of salaries. But anyway, they'll have to find a way because he's very clear that he wants to continue his career. He's very clear that he wants to keep playing soccer. And for that, he needs to stay active. No. Well, just to wrap up, I just want to remind all of you that the Guadalajara team will be back in 2 weeks. Exactly 2 weeks from today, the Chivas will be back in Guadalajara for preseason training. They will most likely report to Dr. Rafael Ortega. They will report there, and then, well, they'll start working. They won't be able to do it in Verde Valle, so they'll have to rent a place or go straight to preseason since they won't have anywhere to train, right? Because Verde Valle will be occupied by the Korean national team. Well, that's all the information about the Chivas team. All right, we'll leave the video here. Thank you very much for your attention. Keep subscribing. Leave your comments. Comment, share, and like. See you next time. I'm Jesus Bernal. Goodbye.